In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent, may mercy, peace, and blessings of Almighty Allah be upon all of you. Welcome you all in this our lecture series program. And this is our lecture 19th. We are going to talk about introduction to syntax. We already have talked about syntax and what is syntax in different angles, and this lecture is actually an overview of all the points we learned in our previous lectures. So this topic is very important for the students of MA English, BS English, and equally crucial for the aspirants of lectureship. This content is from an introduction to linguistics semester 1. So let's talk about our today's topic. And here what we are going to talk about in our topic, that points under discussion in the lecture are definitions of syntax, number 2 generative grammar, number 3 deep and surface structure we are going to discuss, and syntactic structure in which is composed of a morpheme, word, phrase, clause, and sentence. So we already have talked about in detail these all things. This is just an overview in this lecture. So number last structural ambiguity we are going to discuss in our today's topic. So let's learn one by one these all things together. So let's talk about, and number 1, syntax. The word syntax comes originally from the Greek, which literally means a putting together or arrangement. So when we are talking about syntax, we are talking about putting together or arrangement of a sentence. What are the chunks, or what are the units we are going to put into a sentence and make a larger units in a language. So in earlier approaches, when we are talking about syntax, there was an attempt to produce an accurate description of the sequence or ordering arrangement of elements in the linear structure of sentence. So here when we are talking about the approach syntax, it was started to talk about the sequence or ordering arrangement, like we were talking about the subject, verb, and object in a sentence. So this was an order how we are going to make sentence. But in more recent attempts to analyze the structure, there has been a greater focus on the underlying rule system that we use to produce or generate sentence. But you see, the most recent study in syntax is we are talking about the rule system. What are the rules we are going to make sentences in a language? So these are some of the points we have taken from the book, The Study of Language, written by George Yule in 6th edition. Again, when we are talking about syntax, there is a point, deep and surface structure. The terms deep structure and surface structure were introduced by Noam Chomsky as a part of his work on transformational grammar. So when we are talking about this term, deep and surface structure, this was given by Noam Chomsky when he was working on transformational grammar. Later we are going to learn what is transformational grammar. Here today we are going to learn what is deep structure and surface structure. So Noam Chomsky worked upon this term. So here we are going to learn deep structure is concerned with meaning, number 1, and this is very important. And what we are going to talk about surface structure is concerned with grammar. For example, there are 2 sentences. Charlie broke the window. And number 2, the window was broken by Charlie. Now you see, these are 2 different sentences. When we are talking about their meaning, so meanings are the same in these both sentences. But when we are talking about the structure or grammar, so there is difference of grammatical structure, that is surface structure. And when we are talking about the meaning, so it is the deep structure of the syntax. Again, deep structure refers to concepts, thoughts, ideas, feelings. And when we are talking about the surface structure, varies surface structure refers to the words language we use to represent the deep structure. And again, students, deep and surface structure. Have you ever experienced a situation where you felt the words were not enough to express what you had in mind? So, this situation, deep structure is what you wish to express, which is something inside in your mind. And when we are talking about surface structure, how you express it in with the help of words and sentence. So you see, this picture represents the best what we learned about the deep structure and surface structure. So deep structure, you see, this is what we wish to express, which is something in our mind, which is an abstract. And when we are uttering those thoughts into words, so this is all about the surface structure. There is another study, we could say generative grammar within the syntax we are going to learn, and that is also called syntactic rules. So there are syntactic rules are rules for making a sentence. Likewise, syntactic rules combine words into phrases and phrases into sentences. The set of rules, a well formed structure, is sometimes described as generative grammar. So this was all about the generative grammar. Generative grammar, in a very simple way, we could say a well-formed structure in a language, right? For example, in English, subject, verb, object. This is an arrangement how to make sentences in English language. For example, there is a sentence, and the fisherman hung the net on the fence. So this is totally grammatical sentence or a well-formed structure in English language. The fisherman hung the net on the fence. This is according to the rules of sentence. But when we're talking about the same sentence in a very different and ungrammatical way, it would be the hung fisherman fence net on the. This is totally ungrammatical and unsensible when we are talking. So this is actually the generative grammar when we are talking about a well-formed structure in a language, like here is an example in an English language. Again, syntactic analysis. Syntactic units are grammatical items. Words, morphemes, phrases, clauses, and sentences are grammatical items, are units in a language. So here you see that when we are talking about the sentence structure, we are talking about these all terminologies. We are using these all grammatical items within it. Number one, the smallest unit in a language is morpheme, and morphemes, and then words make phrases make clauses, and clauses make the sentence or sentences, which is actually the largest unit in a language. So this is the order from the smallest structure to the longest in a language. A structural ambiguity. When we are talking about syntax, we are going to learn about a structural ambiguity within this topic. A single stretch of speech or writing can have two or more than two distinct meanings. So this is very obvious that a sentence may contain various meanings within. For example, there is a sentence: the ambassador is one who lies abroad for the good of his country. Now, the sentence could have two meanings within. Number one, the ambassador is one who serves his country by living his life out of his motherland. So, this could have been this meaning. Again, there could have been another meaning of this sentence, like the ambassador is one who tells lies to other country for the benefit of his own motherland. You see, this is another meaning of the same sentence, that an ambassador is one who tells lies. So this is, here we could see the ambassador is one who lies abroad for the good of his country is lexical. there is a lexical ambiguity within this structure, and the ambiguity is here with this word lies. Here could have been another example for you. For example, there is a sentence: I once shoot an elephant in my pajamas. Now, this is a very comic sentence that could have been two meanings. I once shoot an elephant in my pajamas. So, its meaning could be I shoot an elephant while I was in my pajamas, or number two, I shoot an elephant which was in my pajamas. So these are two different meanings of the same sentence. So this ambiguity or this bewildered interpretation could have been the structural ambiguity in syntax. Thanks for attention. Thank you very much. Hopefully this could have been a very helpful lecture for all of you. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.